Twitter, and obviously because this is where most boxing news comes through. I was just taking a look at Deontay Wilder's page, and this was yesterday actually, but I just failed to do a video about it. This was Deontay's letter to boxing fans, and he just goes on. You guys should give it a read. It's on his Twitter page. But the part that really concerns me here is he said Josh is not a stand-up guy. He wanted to fight in his country. Of course, he does want to fight in his country. He's the A side, and it says they offered me a flat fee, crackhead money, something that's equivalent to a pack of peanuts, loaf bread, and a jar of honey. That flat fee he's talking about is 15 million. Now, if we go back in Deontay Wilder's fight career, in his 40 fights that he's had, he's for max payday 2.1 million, and prior to then, this is a max payday. So if we were to say on average, he was earning probably 1 million per fight, 1.5 million per fight. It's probably taking him at least 20 something, 30 something fights to be able to make that exact amount that's been offered to him. No, obviously it's a little bit off, but what I mean is, in his lower fights when he was fighting smaller opposition, obviously he could have been getting 1 million for those fights. It would be some 100k, 200k, or whatever it is, right? He was fighting cruiserweights. He was fighting guys that had literally no record. So when he started actually fighting people that had pulses, was I think from his 33rd fight, right? And even then, we couldn't have said he was making up to 1 million. So this year, 15 million at least should be able to recuperate what he's made for most of his career. But then he calls that crackhead money. Well, son, if you're calling this crackhead money, then the money you've been making must be some cheap crack, honestly, because this year, it's really, I cannot understand it. If you're trying to make a fight and you're saying, Deontay says, it's all about legacy, it's not about the money. If you were offered 12.5 million in the first place, you didn't take the fight, you offered 50 million that you claim is in the bag, but then you didn't send a contract. And two, you've been offered 15 million again, and still you don't accept. I mean, what do you need? He just goes on here. You see, I'll tell you something, guys. When someone doesn't have facts and they're not able to back up their arguments in this situation, especially when people are watching. This is from my experience with people. What they try and do is deflect by making themselves feel like they're the victim of a situation. Like he feels like he's being treated wrong. Now, this is what this guy does. And honestly, people have their own opinions. But what I think is, this guy, maybe he does want to fight, but his words don't match up to what we think his actions are. And if Deontay has been someone to fight and take on challenges throughout his career, you know what, I would say yes. You know, if you guys remember when he was about to fight, I think Gerald Washington, I remember then he was calling out Joseph Parker, and he only just said, Parker, come see me, I want that WBO belt, blah 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 blah. And I remember Parker, I did show up for the Gerald Washington fight, and before we know it, it just goes all quiet. You see, Deontay is all talk until pedal hits the metal, and you know it comes right in your face, and the offer is right there, and he just one way or the other sneaks through and makes it seem like, oh, you know what, he wanted a fight. You know what? Yeah, if we're going to crown people based on who wanted a fight, man, everyone would be world champion today. I would be world champion today. If everyone, I was talking to someone on my Twitter feed, and he said, I think Deontay beats any of these guys in the heavyweight division. Well, I think doesn't freaking cut it in this division. You have to actually get in the ring and prove it. If I told everyone what I thought and what I think would happen if if we fought. Like, I would say, oh, you know what, I can beat everyone, and I will have a record of 51-0. But it doesn't work that way. So yeah, man, this is what Deontay said, and he just goes on a stupid rant and absolutely poor English, and it's actually really sickening to see. He's obviously not interested in making the fight. The offer is still on the table, like I said previously. You still have the option to take the fight if you want it for April. But obviously, if you look at the thing, he says, I didn't come all this way just to come all this way. Bomb squad, 51-0. What, we're expecting to fight another 11 more bombs? Because I don't see you fighting any of the major guys in this division 51-0 and go untouched. Because that belt will be taken off you, and it will be taken by force. So if you want to avoid Joshua, that's fine. You can avoid him, but someone else will get that belt, and someone else that would take 15 million and probably even more by then. Maybe if it's Jerome Miller or Dylan White or something, they will take that belt from you. And don't you worry. Skip on this opportunity just to go fight for cheap crackhead money. Man, it's MC Boxing. I'm out.